Hi guys, in this episode I'm going to go through my initial impressions of the Simucube 2 Pro. I'll be going through the software, the mount and the stock quick release, along with my thoughts on those things, and also taking it back to the Fanatec perspective and seeing how the two compare. I'm keen to emphasize though that this is just an unboxing and initial thoughts video. I'll give a long-term review once I've been using this for a little longer. So let's get this baby unboxed. The Simucube 2 Pro comes in a white shipping box that is branded, but inside we have the actual orange accented number. The box itself is simple and to the point. Open her up and you are greeted with a bunch of Simucube 2 stickers. We also have inside that box a basic e-stop, the USB cable, the power brick, and of course the actual wheelbase. The wheelbase itself, when compared to the Fanatec Podium DD range, is simple. There are no bells and whistles really. It's a bit more compact than the DD1, but the proof is in the pudding. I'm using the official Simucube 2 mount here to get this attached to my GT Omega Prime with its stock wheel plate. Unfortunately, the mounting screws provided with the official mount didn't fit the Prime's wheel plate, so I've had to source my own here. I'll be upgrading this later anyway, but it's a little annoying that there aren't more options included for mounting this to thicker wheel plates. Taking a look at the back of the Simucube 2 Pro, we can see a very small power button, an expansion port, power and torque ports, and a connector for the wireless antenna. The software for the Simucube 2 Pro is easy to find and all the downloads are in one place for lots of different versions, so no trawling around forums to find these things. Installation is a case of downloading the executable and going through the install shield. It's likely at this point you have to install an update to the firmware on your wheelbase. And whilst the software update there is quite verbose, it's simple and to the point. The software itself is quite unobtrusive. However, the icons on the left-hand side aren't necessarily the best way of conveying what the purpose of a particular page is. I haven't yet looked at making my own profile. I found some that I liked and used those. And having online profiles available is a great way for you to get into gaming straight away without having to go and do some research yourself. When you look at the profile screens, the options are a little daunting, and I myself will probably go through those just to work out what they do later on. But for now, I'm using an online profile to get me racing. To run in high torque mode, you have to first enable that in the software. And in doing so, you have a big disclaimer to make sure that you're aware of the implications of high torque mode. From there, you can enable it individually, or you can wait a few seconds and enable it automatically for every time the software loads. Simucube used to bundle a wheel side mount with their wheelbases. They now only do so with the Ultimate, so I had to go and purchase an additional wheel side mount to get this wheel attached. Now there are other quick release options available on the market, but for now I'm just using the stock Simucube one, so you get a feel for what that is like to mount up. Screw the spacer to the back of the quick release and then the wheel to that. As you can see from the comparison to the Fanatec equipment I have, it's a little shorter, and there are some pros and cons to that. In my case, I didn't need to get any extensions on the wheel length. It's about in the right position with this. Actually, the Fanatec stuff pushed my chair back a little bit further. To attach the wheel to the base, it's a simple slot mechanism, and once you've got that slotted in, there's a pin to hold it in place. Machining on this part is very precise, and I can't feel any movement once the two sides are mated. It's a simple and easy method of attaching a wheel, but a lightweight solution this is not. The tight tolerances between the two halves also make it a little tricky to separate, but not any worse than Fanatec's QR1. As stock quick releases go, this is quite affordable. Actually, it's cheaper than Fanatec's, and it doesn't suffer from any movement. One downside of this approach with the pin is that the pin head gets in the way of my USB cable on my USB wheel. So sometimes when you're getting into racing, that catches and pulls the USB plug out, and then of course you've got none of your buttons available. You could change the orientation of the QR so that that is less likely to happen, but it's worth knowing that that's potentially a problem for you. My first port of call was to fire up iRacing and do a couple of laps of Laguna Seca in the MX-5. The lack of movement in the quick release was instantly evident, and that helped me use more of the available tracks straight away. I definitely didn't do personal bests, but I felt more comfortable getting up to speed. I'd spent some time optimizing the DD1, and to be able to get an improvement on settings that I've downloaded from the online profiles straight out of the box without effort was a nice surprise. Moving on to GT3 cars and Assetto Corsa Competizione, the feedback in this game is just so good. The Simucube 2 doesn't disappoint here in conveying that. You feel all of the rumble strips and you definitely feel like you're in a motor race. Here it isn't a huge improvement on the DD1, but it is still better. And coupled with the far superior quick release system, you feel it all without additional distractions from the clunking and grinding that you get with the QR1. It's great stuff. So we're on to my final thoughts here. Now, like I said before, this is only my initial impressions of the Simucube 2 Pro. Honestly, I'm not blown away by the feedback. Of course, I've been using a direct drive for a little while, so that's to be expected. However, it is more of an improvement than I expected over the DD1. Compromises made by Fanatec for the Podium DD range are quite evident, especially in the quick release solution. And you don't have any of that with Simucube. Sure, this comes in at slightly more expensive than the Fanatec solution, especially when you start to factor in wheels. But the quality is evident throughout all of these. I mean, I've been using this USB wheel now for a while anyway, so for me it was not a huge investment to switch over to a different brand. But you still have to consider that, and Fanatec's wheels are very affordable. The software is not going to blow you away. It's very simple and to the point, but the added addition of online profiles to get you up and running fast is great, and I'm very welcoming of that. Overall, I'm very happy with my purchase decision to move over to Simucube 2 here. However, the quick release with the pin arrangement, I think I'm going to swap out pretty quickly. It's a bit frustrating to lose your buttons mid-race. I didn't have this problem with the Fanatec quick release, so I'm going to be looking at smoother options to replace the QR. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more of this kind of content. And until next time, I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.